How is this happening?
We're looking for studs here, man. You want to play Division I? This is what it's going to be like, you know? You are.
Okay, keep flipping for me. Thank you.
Breathe, 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 breathe.
Good. Now you look good. Breathe. Breathe. 25.
Boy, when you think about, we just here to work. We just here to work. Breathe.
Good. There you go. Get out. Push. There you go. Drop down. Good. Good. Yep. Get out. Come on. There it is. There it is. There. Good job. Drop down. Push. Push. Move. Good. Good. Good job. Hurry up. Put it together, son. Breathe. It's a rubber band. Throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up.
Now, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Stay low. If you pop up, you're done. Set. Move. Shuffle back. Shuffle back.
The rule is my they scared of love. And the Uzi, the light, they all keep me on the bus. They can hit after he call me bad buzz. For this Christmas, I got
Too long to get better. Isaac, what is that nonsense? Bend your back knee.
Back. Jog back. Jog back. Come on. Yep. There you go. There it is. Good. Good, Jaylene. Come on, young man. Get around. Hurry up. Get around. Use your hands. Use your hands. Yep, you don't gotta touch the cone. Good call, good call. Be smooth up, stand up. Get in and get out. Yep, yes sir, yes sir. Now to the red. Skip the cone, skater. Come on, there you go. Come on, get to the red cone, get to the red cone. There you go. 9, 8, good, 7. Back flash, 2. 2. Let's go. Shuffle, sprint all the way back. Get out, get out, get out. Break down. Good. Shuffle, shuffle back. Get out, get out, get out. That's it, that's it, that's it. Push. Get out. Good. Good job. Get out. That's it, that's it, that's it. Move. Good run. Push, run. Get out. It's okay. Get out. Finish. That's it. Ron, you facing the wrong way yourself. Facing that way now. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Next group. Here. Get out, get out, get out. Next group, next group. Come on. Good kick. Get out, baby. There it is. Everybody! Yes, yes! Forward. 13, 14, 8. You ready to take me, hold you down. Hurry up. Get out, get out.
And the higher the levels, they're gonna be. So if you are equipped dogs, or we create dogs, we all go to Division I, every last one of us. That's creating a culture of excellence, high achieving. That type of legacy is I mean, say, yo, you're the supreme guy. Me and my son follow you out in Mississippi. People are watching you guys. They know what's happening. This is not just local. Mississippi, that's a part of history you don't even know. You don't even realize it. All right, I'll see you guys some. I hear you. I got some shit lined up. I got you set up. I set you up now. Hey, nobody ran.
Donovan.
I appreciate you. Always say that as often as you should. But we want you to know that we love you necessarily do things like that. Everybody don't do that. Thousands of people, okay, and it's all possible. It's absolutely possible. But if you guys understand?
Let's go, let's go.
I want you to understand something. Balance. In other words, equilibrium. Balance happening. You need those things. Competition. They fall in love with it. Okay? So it won't be a taboo thing. It's the key. Like, the majority of the time, okay, if you're younger, you might not understand. Basically means don't think, fail, get up. Get your ass back up and do it again. During that time, the teachers come to a floor, you'll come and put on the path. You understand? Y'all following the story? So eventually somebody, it might not be me, and we're gonna copy that, then we're gonna add on to that. That's how we all win. The difference on Tuesday is this. We're going straight in the back of the field over there, and we're gonna get to work. You understand?
Yes. My name is Stack Williams. I'm the CEO and founder of Supreme Being Inc. My purpose and mission when it comes to Supreme Being Incorporated essentially was at first to provide access and resources for young people. And then as time went along, it kind of morphed into something else based upon the needs in the marketplace. And I would see that at least where we come from in Hartford, Connecticut, it's very poverty-stricken. It's a very tough environment. So I just wanted to elevate the quality of life for families and young people from underserved, underprivileged communities. So living in Hartford, Connecticut, it's really like any typical urban community across the country in terms of the high violence, high poverty, low employment, poor test scores in the city. The educational achievement gap is by far the furthest in the country. Actually, Connecticut is #1 in terms of the achievement gap from wealth to the poor. And so Hartford represents that poor perspective. And so this is where we come from. So the accountability is extremely important for us because a lot of times, especially in the community that we come from, there's a lot of finger pointing. And there's always this person's fault, that person's fault, and no one's taking responsibility for themselves, or no one's being accountable for themselves or for their loved ones or things of that nature. And I think that if you want to arise or to ascend in any way, in any industry in the world, or in your personal goals or objectives, you have to have accountability. So the work that we do is important because we do the things behind the scenes, at least within the space of athletics. We do the behind the scenes work that's not being done for the young people. So Supreme Beam offers, we have the mentoring component, we have consultancy for those who may be abroad and still are impacted or would like to be impacted from some of our work or our connections, and then we have the athletic development. And so now we do a lot of things off the record as well, just because it's such a holistic approach. But in terms of our key areas that we focus on is the mentoring, the personal development piece, advocacy piece, and then the athletic development piece. We surround the young people around men and women who graduated college, come from the same communities, have access to those who the young people would like to have access to, things of that nature. So, and then we also help with providing summer jobs, different things to help put them in position where they can minimize poor choices, right? So that's helpful. My personal philosophy is like, I'm a man of the people. Like I serve the globe, and I feel like as an individual, I'm talented enough to touch people in Rancho Cucamonga and Chicago, in Detroit, Louisiana, because the knowledge in itself is transferable. So I can communicate the information and touch lives all over the world. I want to be, again, from a personal standpoint, I want to continue to make my parents proud of me. So I want to touch those lives in different parts of the country, and so they can, that I was here, that I did something. From an agency standpoint, I want to leave a legacy behind that touched the lives of the millions of people. And I think that we have such a unique service that I think we're able to do that. And we've been doing a great job of that today, actually. Young people need some sort of structure and discipline, because if they don't have that, they'll continue to stay all over the place, right? And it's natural, to kind of be, we're spirited people, we want to kind of jump and roll and kick and all that, but organized sports create a system where we can have a multitude of races, of different people from different environments come together and govern by a specific set of rules and instructions and disciplines. So now we can all be on one accord, and this one accord will help us because it's transferable to our personal lives. And so now we understand that before I do A, before I do B, I got to do A. There's things that needs to happen prior to something else happening. Sports helps reinforce those disciplines to ultimately help parents as well. To be honest with you, the most rewarding part of this work, I'm still trying to find, because I'm so engulfed in this process that I don't get the chance to relax and say, wow, look at what we've done. Because there's always another young person who needs it, another young person, another family who's in a terrible position. They don't have access to anything. And so we're constantly working, and we've done some phenomenal things. But as the leader of the agency, I haven't really been able to sit back and just, wow, I haven't really got to that point yet. Yeah, winning this grant has really been a blessing for us, because again, our agency, we're small, and so sometimes we don't attract the large grants that some of the other agencies that's been around traditionally for decades. And so we've been around about 10 years now. And so this grant has allowed us, at least for this summer, to pay some bills, of course, but also take flights to bring the kids to provide access to go to University of Georgia, Penn State. We're going to Florida in a couple weeks. Different Boston College, different colleges we've been able to attend with the aid of the grant. This grant has been an absolute blessing for us, and we're extremely grateful. And we look forward to hopefully creating an even stronger relationship to open up doors for other opportunities through Gatorade. It's awesome. We were ecstatic about it. The grant allowed us to provide the service to a deeper depth in terms of what we're able to provide the young people, in terms of helping them get closer to their dreams, helping them realize what's possible. So the grant allowed us to, take the young people on the road, take them in an airplane to different universities across the country, which has been tremendous for them because some of them have never rode an airplane or never been to these colleges. They've only seen them on TV on College Game Day. So now they're able to physically be on the field and be in the locker room, put on the jerseys and touch the helmet. These things can absolutely change a young person's life. Having organizations like Gatorade and Pay It Forward acknowledge a small organization like ourselves, it's extremely humbling because we don't even supposed to exist in their radar. Like, we don't even supposed to really even be a factor for them to recognize us. But a lot of it is a testament of the work. So you can't skip the work. And we put the work in consistently. We don't cheat, we don't cut corners. We put the work in, we apply pressure. And so with someone like Victor Rosa doing what he did, we apply pressure to the nation, right? And we apply pressure. And so you have to see us because we're the best around here. So if you want to be associated with the best, then come tap in with us because this is what we're doing. We're creating the best. I think it's important to provide access to everyone when it comes to sports, because just from an activity standpoint, just from a health standpoint, from that alone, I think that the foundation of it is important. That's one. Two, the relationships that are established through sports. That's beautiful. That's two. Three, it bridges the race gap, right? I'm like, for whatever reason, the U.S. is like, it's tough. It's tough when it comes to the race relations. Sports help eliminate all of that stuff. And that's been a beautiful thing about sports. Our process with mentoring the young people, it's very unique because it's a case-by-case situation. Some kids come from foster care, some kids come from living with relatives, some kids come from great households with both parents with more affluent communities. So each child has a different challenge for us to help them overcome. Nevertheless, we meet them head on, right? We speak to the head, not above the head. And so what we'll do is we identify what are some of the challenges, what are the obstacles, what are the goals, we assess that, and then we put in place different strategies to help mitigate some of those things and help them overcome that.
My name is Mark Jennings, MarkJennings. Okay, my name is Mark Jennings, and my role in the organization, which I was given about a year and a half ago, is the Director of Player Development. So my daily role in Supreme is really to make sure that the babies are getting everything that they need as far as their player development, as far as their mental toughness, as far as like their mental development and things like that. So Supreme helped me in two different ways. I always knew, like, since I was a kid, that I wanted to help the youth. I always knew that I wanted to help the youth. I just didn't know how. So when I was in high school, I was actually involved with a program called Teach for America. And what that program was, it pretty much had students such as myself help oncoming teachers that was just graduating college, that was starting to like phase into their teaching career. So my job was to give the newborn teachers, so to speak, my perspective in the classroom and what I need to learn better, what I needed from my teachers to help me feel more comfortable in the classroom and make me excel at whatever it was that they were teaching. So that kind of like helped me prepare for Supreme in a way. So again, I told you Stack kind of reached out to me, asked me what I was doing with my life at the time, which really wasn't nothing. So now, like, Supreme has helped me find me. It's helped me find my stride in life. Sports in my life was my foundation. It set everything for me as far as discipline, work ethic. It set up relationships that I never would have had. It gave me a sense of self, knowing that I was at least halfway decent at the sport I played. It helped me understand the value of camaraderie and all those little things that you need as a foundation for life. So for me, being able to be in a position to give back is huge, because it helps me help them not make the same mistakes I made. So essentially it's giving them a leg up, whether it comes to their approach to the game, whether it comes to how they respond to coaching and being yelled at, so to speak. I wasn't always receptive to those things. I was a shy kid. So as I got older, I started to realize the value of those things, of having a coach in my corner or mentor, just somebody to be hard on me. They helped me not make the mistakes that they made, although like I still made mistakes, and I'm sure the kids that we're helping as well, I still gonna make mistakes, but at least they have someone to go to to make those mistakes for guidance. So that's where I fit in. I fit in as someone who's going to help them, let them know that it's okay to make that mistake, but we're not going to keep making the same mistakes. We're going to keep building off of what we've learned. I'm going to share my experiences with you, just so you know that it's okay that you did that, but what do we do from here on out to make sure that that is a learning experience, and we can just keep building on that and never backtrack, and we'll just keep getting better day by day, because it is a long process. So academics are also huge. You cannot be supreme without having that academics as well. That goes hand in hand. It's called student athlete for a reason. You must be good in the classroom first for you to even be able to step on the basketball court or field or tennis court and things like that. So we are super stern in our approach when it comes to making sure that our athletes or the kids that we work with are good in the classroom. When I leave Supreme in one of our sessions, I immediately go into self-criticism mode. I need to put myself, and I'm always putting myself in a position where how can I get better to help them get better? Because once I stop growing, that leaves limited room for them to grow, because I stop putting myself in positions to get better and teach them more things. So I have to constantly study and like watch the clips that I record during the session to make sure that I'm coaching myself up to coach them up. So as soon as I go home, I'm immediately going through my phone, kind of just like thinking back and thinking, could I have done this better? What did I do good? What did I not do good? How can I manage a station a little bit better? How can I make sure that I'm pushing this kid to their full potential and making them realize the value of hard work with still making sure that they're safe? Understanding that safety is always key. So that's kind of the mode I go into as soon as I get home. So like the session's not over for me until maybe like an hour and a half after the session, because that's like self-critique time for me and making sure that I'm putting myself in a position to again help them be better as well. I had no idea. Like I didn't know until Victor posted it. I literally had no idea. So I'm in my living room one day and like I'll scroll Instagram for a couple of minutes, not that long, and I see Victor like post his submission speech. So I'm just looking back and like, wait, what is happening? So I'm like completely lost. I'm like, I didn't even know that he was nominated. I didn't know any of this stuff. So once I found out that like he was selected for it, like for me it was huge. It was big, because we haven't had it, to my knowledge at least, we hadn't ever had that. So knowing that like he was selected for it, and he through his hard work, his commitment to our culture, like that was so special to me, and it was really like it put me in a position to want to do more. Because now it's like, okay, like we have this now. We have this to our track record, so to speak. Can we get another one? Can we put somebody else in a position to be another Gatorade Player of the Year, like years down the line or even next year, you know? So that made me wonder, okay, Vic, I see what you did, great job. Thank you for paying homage to us and what we did for you, and like through your hard work and how like we helped build you up. Like there's not many do that, many forget where they come from. So that speaks to Vic and his character. So for me, this is all new to me. Like this is so new to me. So like again, this goes back to me not experiencing what the kids today that we are dealing with are experiencing. I didn't have the chance to go to a Boston College or UConn or a Penn State or any Division I college for that matter. I never got that experience. So being able to experience this now as an adult does so much for me, because it kind of heals my inner child, so to speak. Everything that I missed out on due to lack of resources and not having access to the things that other kids my age in different areas had access to, you know? So again, Gatorade coming to us does everything for me and my mental, knowing that it's possible. Like, it's possible to be where I'm from and have like these businesses of their magnitude notice us. It makes me want to go harder again, to critique myself more, build myself up even more, and help these kids so that way they can know that even though we're from a small area, it's possible to do bigger things.
And action. Nice.
I feel like, and it's not to say that we're not hungry now, because we are still hungry for more for our babies, but without just this recognition of the quality work that we put in, we'll be even hungrier than we are now, to know that we're still slept on. Like, we're doing all these great things for these kids out here, and like no one's paying homage, so to speak. So that just comes from like our desire to be better, to be great, not being complacent, you know. So again, it's great that Gatorade did recognize us and is doing this on us, but at the same time, it's like we still have more work to do. We still have more work to do. So again, we're still hungry. Probably be hungrier if this didn't happen. But I think it's about time. It's about time. Stack's been doing a great job since I was a junior in high school, 2012, 10 years ago. It's just beautiful for me to see that where he has taken this thing. So it's my job to make sure we take it to the next level, and things like this happen regularly, where it's normal for us, you know. So I think just to answer your question, that's what it is.
Supreme Athlete.
Supreme Athlete, yep. Really?
Yep.
Supreme Athlete is based in Hartford, Connecticut.
Glenn Rosa, G-L-E-N-N-R-O-S-A.
Deanna Rosa, D-E-A-N-N-A-R-O-S-A.
As a parent, you want your son to ultimately be prepared for every time he goes on the field. And my son Victor came to me and said, "Dad, I'm going to work out with Supreme." And I'm like, "Who's Supreme?" And one of his friends that was mentored by Stack brought him to a couple workouts, and then I started to bring him to workouts. I met Stack, and from there the relationship just went, 0 to 100. with Supreme versus normal workouts you would get at like a boys club or a high school, he's like next level. I also noticed that on the Twitter feed with Supreme, he's big, because I worked 31 years for Stop and Shop. He was giving out food vouchers for the needy and the people who are less fortunate. So it's like a lot of the money that he takes in, he's always paying it forward. He's always giving it to the neighborhood, the kids, the public that need it, which I think is just amazing. Very deserving man, very deserving organization, doing well.
We're very proud to be a part of the family. We're from Bristol, Connecticut, which is about 30 minutes away, and he welcomes all people from all different backgrounds and ethnicities, and he just never judged you. And Victor always felt at home, and all the kids were, so welcoming, and he
thrived in that environment.
Victor thrived in the environment, and Stack is just, again, he doesn't care where you're from or how much money you have or don't have. He treats everyone the same, and that's what I like about it.
I feel if you want to have access to make yourself better, you have to have the desire and the heart to go and obtain that. And Stack will, like I said, if you're good, he'll make you great, and when you think you're great, he'll tell you what's wrong with you and what you need to work on, How he got nominated is the way he's been raised. Because I've always raised both of my boys. I have 2 sons, and I raised them both, and I've always told them and instilled in them, when you have been somewhere and you get somewhere, you give back. And I mean, there's boys clubs out there, there's youth football programs out there, and I said, this guy does the most with the least amount of resources. He's so deserving of it, and it was like a no-brainer. Victor hit him up real quick, and Stack was kind of like, I'm doing what? I'm getting what? And it was almost like a pleasant shock or a pleasant surprise for both of them, and my son was overfilled with joy, just to let him know.
He could have chose the Bristol Boys and Girls Club because he's from Bristol. He could have chose, he played football for Bristol Youth Football. Those are both great organizations, yet Stack was that one step above where he really put in the work and he really was a true mentor, and he helped Victor achieve his dreams. He got him in front of all these schools, and Victor put in the work and put in the academics, but Stack was the foundation, and without Stack, I don't think Victor would be the Gatorade Player of the Year.
Nakia Williams, Nahkia Williams. I was familiar with Stack from years ago, many years ago. We were kids growing up on the same street in Hartford, and that's how we met. I believe maybe 9-10 years old. He moved to the street that I was already living on, and he moved about 2 or 3 houses down from me. So we grew up together on the same street as kids. Well, my son is going on 2 years of being in Supreme Athletics, and it's been a great experience, even though, we've known Stacks prior to this, but just on the mentoring programming part of it, it's phenomenal. Just one word to describe Stacks in this program, like phenomenal. My son loves it. At first it was a little difficult because he wasn't used to this type of workout, but like I said, we're going on 2 years into the program, so he's used to it now. Great mentoring program. Helped my son be more disciplined, punctual. He's really hard on grades and stuff like that, so it helps the kids keep a great grade point average. It's just an overall great mentoring program. I love it. I love it because things that I can't help with, Coach Stacks is like immediate 911. Like when mom and dad can't either get to the situation or handle the situation, Coach Stacks steps in and handles the situation, like school, on and off the field, personal issues, anything. So my son really looks up to him. Really does. The difference that I've seen, speaking for myself, since my son has been in the program, a lot of my friends want their kids to join Supreme because they see, what's going on with my son, what's been happening with my son, the videos and things that we post. It just encourages other parents to want to get their kids involved, and it encourages other kids who may not have had the confidence to join a program like this, but just the great outcome of being involved in a program like this, it's just like, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? Everybody wants a part of greatness, and I think that's what Supreme Athlete stands for. I think it's important to invest because growing up in Hartford, a community such as Hartford, like, we don't have this. Like, we don't have 10 to 20 Stanley Stack Williamses, there's just one. So it's important for him to do what he's doing because it's to me, it's an outlet for the less fortunate. Some kids don't pay. Some kids, he doesn't even charge. He's more focused on the athletic part and just getting these kids doing better in school, getting them into better high schools, getting them into top-notch colleges and things like that. So I think it's very important what he's doing, and I'm almost certain he'll be doing it for a long time. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I think sports is important. Speaking for myself, once again, being a mom in Hartford, I grew up in Hartford. My kids were born and raised in Hartford. My 2 boys, who are both athletes, it kept them out of trouble. It kept them booked and busy, as they would say nowadays. It kept their grades good. It kept them disciplined. Especially for my oldest son, it helped him be a role model for my youngest son, who's here at Supreme. It's just, it helped me out as a mom. It helped me out a lot. Teaches them a lot of great things because nowadays, these kids, they could be doing anything. And right now, they're here doing this. So, yeah, it helped me out a lot as a parent. I think without Supreme Athlete, once again, I can speak for myself, my son probably wouldn't be going to one of the best prep schools in Connecticut. I can honestly say thank you to Coach Stacks for putting me in contact with the correct people to make that happen, And also, had we not been here with Supreme Athlete, my son wouldn't have made history in the state of Connecticut. He was one of the first 8th graders to receive not 1, but as of right now, 9 Division I offers to attend college, and he just graduated 8th grade about 3 weeks ago. So I know, like, all praise is due, as Stack would say, to Supreme Athlete for that incredible accomplishment. Like, we came here, we work hard, he put us in contact with the right people, he traveled with us going to camps for a month straight. We just finished with football camps. We were on the highways every weekend going to a different city and state, introducing my son to the correct people who he may come in contact with in about 4 years, you know, when he graduates high school. But it's happening early for him now, only going to the 9th grade, and I thank Supreme Athlete for that.
My name is Kiki Adams. I play football and I run track. I'm 16 years old and I've been in Supreme since I was 7 years old. What made me stick around with Supreme was really what it did to my mentality as a player and as a person all around, not just on the football field, but in the classroom, at home, in the community, at school, and, you know, just, you know, being the best person I could be all around. I really play sports because of my brother. You know, I followed his footsteps all my life. I remember being a young kid, not being able to play sports because I was too young. And, you know, accident happened with him, and he wasn't fortunate enough to play football anymore. So I really just took it and ran with it. And ever since then, I never looked back. And I really play it because of him. He's my why. Yeah, 100%. I know a lot of kids myself that don't have the opportunity. And, you know, that's another reason of why I go harder, you know, because I've been blessed with, you know, both parents with mentors like Stack. And I just don't take that for granted. Every time I step on the field, every workout I go into, that's something I have in the back of my mind. So I definitely think that everybody should have the opportunity to play, but I know that some people won't. And, you know, that's something that I carry with me every workout, every game I go into. Physically, definitely drained, but mentally, I really feel like I overcame and I really broke through the threshold of just wanting to stay home and probably lay down. You know, not everybody is really built for this. So I think I really just feel accomplished, and, you know, it's an overwhelming feeling being here, you know, with Stack, you know, with some of the backlash he gives you, you know, if you mess up. But when you leave, you just feel accomplished, and, you know, you really feel like you bettered yourself day in and day out. I think it's just a testament to you know, it's not just football, it's not just sports related, because, you know, football or sports period can't last forever. You know, it does have an end date on it. So to know that you have, you know, that support after sports when it's done, you know, you could come back here. I've seen him give multiple people, help multiple people get jobs. And, you know, I think that's just like a sign of, you know, real love right there. It's not just sports. It's, you know, it's a community thing, it's a family thing. And, you know, Supreme is really a family. It just shows that it's not sports. So the chant at the end is Supreme is all we got, Supreme is all we need. We've been saying that since as long as I can remember. And I think it's basically just a saying of, like, you know, Supreme, the family we have here, you know, we all we got, we all we need. Not any bigger than us, you know, it's not any lower than us. You know, the standard is the standard. And I think it's really just like, you know, what it says, like Supreme Athlete, you know, it's all we got, it's all we really, really need, you know, together as a family, as a community, that's all we need and love. I would say football is definitely, I've seen, bring a lot of people together and my family together. And I think that it just shows, you know, the school that I go to, we call it the Brotherhood. And I think it just really, you know, brings everybody together as a brotherhood, as a unit, as one. And, you know, because it's a gritty game, and everybody has to lean on each other. You know, when you feel like you can't do it, you have to lean on your brother and, you know, count on him, count on one another. So I think that definitely shows that it's a family game. I would say me personally, you know, with his connections and the great job that he does, and, you know, it's documented. You could go on a post. When I received my first offer, it was kind of, you know, I was definitely shocked myself, and I was blessed. I was definitely expecting it, but I was more shocked because I had no varsity film, and, you know, he made a post about it, and it's kind of really, really hard to do that, you know, getting an offer at such a young age without any varsity film at all. I just think, like, that's when I really seen, like, Supreme was at a different type of level, and especially Stack with his connections, you know, getting the offer, no film at all, coach has never seen you, instead of, you know, just the hour they seen you at the camp. That's when I really seen that Supreme was taking it to another level. These summer workouts is really just, you know, it's a dog workout. That's what he's like to refer to it as. Right now we're at Weaver High School. He's an alum here, so, you know, he has a lot of memories on this field. And I think it all just comes full circle. You know, he had a lot of memories here, a lot of records here, and he comes back here and, you know, gives back to the community with workouts. And I think really it's more of just like a mental workout than a physical workout. I won't say the workout is easy. However, it's all, you know, body weight, calisthenic stuff. So I think that's not really the hard part. The part that you really want to get through is the mental part, you know, willing to come here after another workout like me, or, you know, just being able to come here and, you know, put up with Stack and his backlash and his talking. And, you know, I think it really just shows how mentally driven you are, how mentally strong you are. You know, it feels great to have people in my corners, nothing short of a blessing, you know, to wake up every day with a roof over my head, you know, clothes on my back. You know, I really thank my mom, my dad for all they do for me day in and day out, whether it's bringing me back and forth to workouts, you know, making sure I have the best top tier education, you know, making sure I have something to eat every night. You know, a lot of kids don't have that. So to have that support system in my corner, it's just nothing short of a blessing that I don't take for granted.
My name is David Pardo, and I've been training with Supreme for about 2 years now. I play sports because it's a way I can express myself without actually saying anything. Like, I could just go out and work hard, and it's kind of like my own space, and I don't have to talk to anybody. I could just do it myself, really. If I didn't play sports, there's a lot of distractions around. Not saying that I would get involved in those, but it would be easier to do that, and Supreme Athlete kind of keeps me away from that. I would say Supreme Athlete keeps me away from distractions because you're not going to give in as much because you have that self-discipline that's been built over and over and over. So when you come out here and train with Supreme Athlete, you can't be average. So when you go out into the real world, you're not going to be doing what everyone else is doing, and you're not going to give in to the distractions. To be honest, I feel like it's different than a lot of trainers, or it's different than a lot of like programs, because it's more mental than anything, and you just have to, if Stack knows if you're not working your hardest, he knows if you're not like giving it your all, so it's all out all the time. From Supreme, I learned a lot of self-discipline, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. And Stack taught me that. So whether it's in the classroom, at home, if I see something on the ground like trash, I'm gonna pick it up in my room or whatever. It's just like the little things matter so much, and he emphasizes on that. And that carries over into the real world. It's a lot of support. Especially coming here, I feel like I'm part of a family. And like, if I'm not giving it my all, someone's gonna tell me that and get me back on track. And I feel like that's basically how Hartford is. Like, it just feels like a family wherever you go. It feels great to have that type of support and athletic standpoint, because as an athlete you can get discouraged sometimes, or like off track, and someone that's there on the same page as you, that has the same energy and ambition, is gonna push you right back on track. If I have anger or something, I can just let it out on the training, and I don't have to take it into the world. The impact sports has made in my life is big, because I don't know what I'll be doing without it. And my discipline wise, sports keep me on that track, and I don't really know anything else that would, like, because I'm very like physical, like hands-on. So if I could just like go to the gym or do something, I do think Supreme Athlete is doing everything they can to help me fulfill my dreams, because it's not only touching on one aspect, the physical, on the field stuff, it's also a mentorship, and you're getting everything, the knowledge, the mentality, and just that grit that you need to get through life. It's important to have a role model, because like Stack did with me, he was the first person to really believe in me before I believed in myself, pursuing football and just like just working out. He believed in me before I believed in myself, and that put some it encouraged me, and it made me gain confidence, knowing that I have someone on my team.
Yes, my name is Nicole Porter. My current role in this community, I am the principal for Access to Sport, which is a nonprofit organization that connects children to nonprofit organizations through grants. I've known Stack for almost 10 years now. I met Stack through a mutual friend within the athletics realm here within Hartford, Connecticut, which is not very large. It is a small community. Everyone knows everyone for the most part. But what has drawn me to Stack is his work ethic, the fact that he really works hard for what he calls his baby, the children in this community, and he really pushes them to be their best selves no matter what. Yes, so prior to Supreme Athlete, mind you, we have a lot of great organizations here in Hartford, Connecticut. However, they're sport specific. So you may have an organization that's focused on basketball or football or track. What Supreme Athlete does is combine all sports disciplines, figure out what that sweet spot is for children in order to help them excel in that particular sport. So it doesn't matter if you're a tennis player, it doesn't matter if you're a track athlete, it doesn't matter if you play basketball. The whole purpose of Supreme Athlete is really to mentor the youth. It starts with them and also looking at the sports that they play and helping them to really excel in their chosen discipline. Hartford is small but mighty. You know, unfortunately, with a lot of urban districts and urban communities, we are faced with a lot of crime. We are faced with sometimes homelessness. We are faced with single parent homes. We are faced with issues that normally not a lot of communities outside of urban districts or that are primarily black and brown have to deal with, especially those who have been historically underserved. There are a lot that our children go through in these types of communities. And the fact that they can reach out to an organization like Supreme Athlete, reach out to a mentor like Stack and the folks within his organization to help them get on the right track, to help them really stay focused not only in school but also in that sport that they are interested in is essential. Hartford as a community is still a great community. In order for our children to learn and thrive, thanks to organizations like Supreme Athlete that really helps children find a place where they can be safe, a place where they can excel, not only on the field but also in the classroom and in life as well. I would say what is unique about, you know, Supreme Athlete is the way that they do it. With other organizations, if you're worth anything in salt, you know that in order for your children to play, it's a non-starter if they're not doing anything within the classroom. However, some children need a little bit more motivation, right? And some have a really hard time connecting with that, you know, caring adult to help them, bring them over that threshold, for them to understand why school is important. Unfortunately, for a lot of children within our community, they see, oh, maybe I can go to the NFL, or they see, oh, maybe I can go to the NBA, but they're not understanding that you need to go to college first, right? In order to do that, you need to make sure you're doing what you need to do in the classroom, not senior year, not junior year, not sophomore year, but it starts as early as 8th grade or even 1st grade. You have to excel in school, and that's the requirements that Supreme Athletes has. So they make sure that our children have what's needed from a credentialing standpoint in their academia realm to make sure that they can compete on that field, on that track, or wherever they choose to compete. You know, they have a way of speaking to the kids as if they're speaking to a friend, but they respect that person because they know they're talking to a grown-up. They know they're talking to an adult. But what's so unique about Supreme Athlete, and especially Stack, is that he's been where these kids have been. He's been in the streets. He's been going from home to home. He understands what some of these kids are going through, but he can also connect with children who haven't been through those types of experiences as well. So I think that's the beauty about Stack, and he brings himself to that organization in order to make it thrive the way it has been. Academia and athletics, I believe, go hand in hand. Unfortunately, especially in children who are in underserved communities, children who have been historically underserved do not get the opportunity to play sports as much as their white counterparts or counterparts in other communities. It's unfortunate. I think that every child deserves the right to play from the time that they can hold a ball in their hand. We've seen disparities across the board when we know that a child cannot play versus when a child can play. And it's mostly sometimes, unfortunately, due to funding, which is why it's important that we have grant opportunities. It's important that we go to our school board and demand that we have the appropriate budget in order to support sports. It helps our children focus. on the field, and it also helps our children focus in the classroom as well, and helps them develop skills that are needed for life. I think the city of Hartford and the community of Hartford is sleeping on Supreme. I think they're sleeping on a lot of great organizations that are doing some ground level, grassroots work and to connect with our kids. I think there's opportunity for collaboration. I think there are opportunities for connecting, and I really hope that, moving forward, we're definitely making strides to making that happen.
Just stare at the lens. Thank you. Action. Thank you. And action. And action. Nice. Nod your head. Nice. Thank you. Nice. Yeah. Thank you, Stack. Yeah. Nice work.
Guys.
And action.
Hey guys, got hope that.
Perfect. Love it. And action.